Alright, you guys ready? Hope this works. Here we go, boom pile time. Flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy all non-land permanents. Today on Commander Replay, I got 99 cards, but a creature ain't one. As we ask the question, is Koma Cosmo Serpent the only creature you need? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have one new Patreon supporter in Commander Cardinal. Commander, you are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Koma Cosmo Serpent today, aka the Power Snake. Take a look at this opening hand. It's actually not quite what I was looking for. We have a ton of ramp in this deck, and there is 0 of it in this hand, so let's mulligan. Into also not great. Okay, looks like we're going to 6. Starting off right, but with this deck, a decent 6 should be better than a bad 7. So we'll mulligan. This is fine. This is a late game card, so we can just put that one to the bottom. Put the Sylvan Awakening to the bottom. So we have 3 lands and an Awakening Zone. That should be pretty good to get us going. So I'm excited about this one. Today the hypothesis that I'm testing is Koma Cosmo Serpent, the only creature we have out of our command zone, and that's my hypothesis, is that I'm pretty sure Koma is so strong that you literally don't need other creatures in your deck. So that's what we're testing today. We'll see how this one goes. I'm very excited to test this, and I did it on a $75 budget, so double handicap myself by not giving myself creatures in Simic, like one of their greatest strengths, and by keeping it on a budget so I couldn't also just play the most expensive stuff in Simic to make it awesome. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, brings it to our turn 1. There's a Harmonize to get us out of that mull to 6. We'll drop the Forest and we'll pass like that. Whoops, totally forgot to put a Soul Ring in this deck. That's one change we'll make after the game. Oopsie. Opponent drops a Legion's Landing on turn 1. Kind of cool. Card that I never quite adopted that much, even in stuff like Winota. I'd like to test it more. It just never seems to show up quite when I want it, so hard to evaluate for me. And that'll bring it back to our turn, turn 2, so we'll drop an island, and we'll pass like that. So let's take a read of Koma. It's 7 mana for a 6/6 that can't be countered. At the beginning of each upkeep, that's every upkeep, create a 3/3 blue serpent creature token named Koma Coils. You can sacrifice a serpent to tap target permanent. Its activated abilities can't be activated this turn, or give Koma indestructible until end of turn. Those are 2 really good abilities. So yeah, I've seen a little bit of Koma so far, and it spits a ton of power into play, has a very similar vibe to something like Tendershoe Dryad, and Tendershoe Dryad is very ridiculous. This comes with 2 additional abilities to basically lock down your opponents a little bit, or give your commander indestructible. The indestructible half of that just seems unbelievably powerful, because now it's really hard to kill your commander. So that's one of the things we'll be trying to take advantage of with this. We have a couple board wipes in the deck. Generally, those are colorless, because Simic, not known for creature board wipes necessarily. But yeah, this thing just does a lot. And like I said, I really don't think you need other creatures in play if you have Koma. It's that strong. So pretty crazy card. I know it's a little bit more expensive than people are used to these days, but it's still immensely powerful. And in Simic, you can get it into play very quickly. So anyway, we draw a Field of Ruin as our land. We'll play an island, drop this Awakening Zone. Awakening Zone is nice because it gives us creatures that we can block with without actually adding creatures to the deck, and it's mana ramp, and the only thing that really matters in this deck is ramping enough to get to your commander. And then from there, you just want to protect it, keep it in play, and that's basically going to be our plan, so nothing too fancy. We'll take a quick peek at what our opponents are playing today. First up, we have Hammerbaggers piloting Queen Marchesa. Not really sure what their plan is yet. Legion's Landing might suggest some sort of token strategy. There's definitely a lot of different directions to go with Queen Marchesa, so, that's all a thing to keep in mind. But we'll see what they've got going. Hopefully it's not like Mardu Control. I'm not sure how well we'll fare against a control deck. It will definitely be interesting. So we'll see what happens. Ooh, opponent's got a Final Parting. A card that I really like. I think Final Parting is a really cool card. Doesn't show up quite as much as I think it should, given how strong it is. Really good for graveyard decks. I use it in my paper decks like a budget Entomb, because Entomb is kind of expensive, so Final Parting, I don't know. It's got to be less than $1, right? So pretty sweet card. Opponent does drop down a Mana Crypt. They have ramped. They've also got an Arcane Signet, and they did crack a Wayfarer's Bauble that they cast last turn and cracked this turn. So all the ramp this turn, they're out ramping the Simic deck currently, although we should be able to catch up to them pretty easily with this deck. This deck has like almost 20 ramp cards in it, so I think in the long run we should be able to catch them. As long as they like don't just win the game, we'll be just fine. Opponent drops down a Cindervines. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, does 1 damage to them. Pretty good. Sack it to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Cindervine deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. Really good card. Brings us back to our turn. We do get an Eldrazi spawn off the Awakening Zone. We'll auto those triggers. We draw a Return to Wildspeaker. Will be good either as card draw or as a finisher once we get our commander into play, but still got a minute to go before that. Let's play the Field of Ruin. Oh, and by playing Undo? Yep, that's not what I wanted to do. Definitely wanted to play a Forest and drop the Harmonize. Whoops. Well, having made that mistake, I guess we just pass, and I think we can cast our commander next turn. Yeah, we should have 2 Scions and 5 lands. That's 7 mana. Make sure we have our colors covered. Yeah, as long as we drop in the Forest, we are good to go on our commander next turn. So we're looking at a turn 5 Koma. Seems pretty good to me. And it's not like we've had crazy ramp either. Like, sometimes you go, if we went like Rampant Growth into Skyshroud Claim, obviously you're going to ramp a lot, but all we've done is play an Awakening Zone. So Queen Marchesa coming into play. Yep. Sean is showing a Morog on top of his library, by the way, with this Courser of Crewfix. Morog is a scary card. That one will kill you in a hurry. Probably going to control Magic that one if no one else wants to deal with it. Opponent does become the Monarch with Marchesa coming in, and they will draw at the end step. Seems good. Ooh, nice. Opponent's going to use the Cindervines to shoot the Mana Crypt, feeling like that's a little bit too much mana for the Nevinrryal opponent. And that is Nevinrryal Urborg Tyrant being piloted by Mango. Here's an interesting one out of Commander Legends. So 6 mana, 3/6, hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. When it enters the battlefield, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn. And when it dies, you may pay 1. When you do, destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. Pretty cool card. Haven't seen a ton of it, but it's definitely controlling. Ooh, there's some interesting stuff. So they drop in an Oketra's Monument and a Genesis Chamber. Unfortunately, the only creature we can cast is our commander to really get any value out of the Genesis Chamber. And that Genesis Chamber will give opponents a lot of blockers, which maybe not the best for us. But we do have overrun type effects in the deck like this, so shouldn't be too hard to get past them, but will require a little bit more work than if they just didn't have creature tokens in play. So, opponent now showing an Elder Gargaroth on top. That's also a very good one. 2/4 going on the attack. It's going to poke us, yep. Opponent doesn't cast anything. That's interesting. Oh, they're caught on white mana. Well, that sucks for them. There's an Urban Evolution. That's a pretty sweet card. Yeah, let's just play the Forest and cast our commander. It's Power Snake time. We get a Genesis Chamber trigger, and we pass. There's our first Koma trigger, so once we get this in play, then we'll be able to give it indestructible as needed, and that feels great. We've got a Koma Coil, or Zav Signet into play. Our last opponent, by the way, is Sean, piloting Obuun Daya Ancestor. We've seen a little bit of this one on the channel. This is a pretty solid precon commander, and it's able to put a lot of power onto the battlefield quickly. And it looks like the version of the deck he's playing, he's definitely souped it up a little bit. We've seen a Morog, we see the Elder Gargaroth on top, so he's got some powerhouses in the deck. And this thing can run you over in a hurry. It just doesn't take that much. And I find that because it's Naya and because it's landfall, it's just like, it's all really well suited to things you already want to be doing anyway. By the way, this is the first game that I'm filming after the disaster in Texas, which was pretty scary. I had to move out of my home for about 4 or 5 days, had to stay with a friend because they had electricity and heat, and the temperatures were below freezing, single digits Fahrenheit on a couple of the days, so it was very, very cold. And yeah, I'm very happy to be back calling a game and not freezing in the cold, so yeah. And that's Nevinrryal coming into play for opponent. Yep. Genesis Chamber trigger. Another Koma Serpent. There's the white mana they need. It's on the top of their library, so they go ahead and play that. They'll have some options available to them now. They could go for the Gargaroth. They could go for their commander. I'd probably go for the Gargaroth personally. That thing is insane, especially early in the game. It goes for their commander. They have a Miri Weatherlight Duelist on top. I don't know if I like that. It's going to be bad for our tokens. Genesis Chamber trigger. So they landfall, and land becomes a creature. Yep. It's a 3/3. So Koma and Awakening Zone triggers. There's a negate. That's super helpful. Definitely want to keep that around. We'll cast the Harmonize right here, and then we'll sit on the negate. Sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn. Hopefully we catch a land in this. There's a land. Play the Tectonic Edge. Nice. I got Metallurgic Summonings into this deck. It was something I added right at the last minute. I'm like, oh, I know what we need. We need Metallurgic Summonings because we don't have creatures, and this makes creatures. Love this card. So hopefully we get to use it today. We've also got a Zendikar's Royal, which is also really good. Who are we attacking? Anyone? We do have a 6/6. We'll send the 6/6 over to Mango. We'll send a 3/3 over to Hammer, and that seems good for now. Mirror in front of the Koma. Yeah, that's one of the problems with Genesis Chamber. Ooh, opponent's going to let the 3/3 through, so we take the Monarch. Nice, love it. We're actually going to go up to 8 cards in hand, and I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. We draw the end step. It's a Circuitous Route. I would like to cast that, actually. Do we not need Barrier Breach? Opponents don't seem to be going heavy with the enchantments this game. Yeah, I think we get rid of the Barrier Breach. We just don't seem to need it right now. We do have a Regrowth in the deck, so we could potentially get it back later. Opponent gets one of these Death Touch Assassin tokens, because we are the Monarch. Don't touch it. If it deals combat damage to you, you lose the game. No one wants that. If they even put, like, unblockable on it, be quite annoyed. I guess we have the negate to prevent something like that from happening, but it's still pretty nasty. 1/1 coming our way. 3/3 coming our way. Uh-oh. Ooh, and the 1/1. All right, well. They're going to flip the Legion's Landing. Okay. This looks like it could be a board wipe play. If it's like a destroy board wipe, then we just use the Koma ability. So definitely block the 1/1, block the 3/3, and I guess we'll block this too. Try to hang on to the Monarch. I'll block with the Mirror just in case. I'm not too worried about anything with the Mirror. I'd rather keep the Koma Serpents alive. I don't know if opponent has a trick or something. So all those go down. Still feels like a board wipe play though. Toxic Deluge. Would I pull out the negate for a Deluge? Because like this stuff is kind of nasty. That's a Damnation. Well, we can give ourselves indestructible. Not too worried about it. Sacrifice a Serpent. Get indestructible. Mostly we just don't want to lose the tempo from the board wipe. Like, it's not that we can't recast Koma, but we have a lot of 5-drops in hand, so we'd like to keep it around. Everything gets blown up. Opponent does not have the mana for the Nevinrryal ability, so they cannot destroy everything. Sounds good to me. Opponent cracks a Marsh Flats. Yeah, and this is why Koma is so ridiculous. Board wipe? No problem. It's got to be exile or minus. Or sacrifice. But the sacrifice gets tough because it's creating bodies on its own. There's an Anointed Procession for opponent. Yeah, so definitely a token strategy. So they did flip their Legion's Landing into a Danto the First Fort, by the way. Plaguecrafter. That's almost scary. Down to our last Serpent. Hopefully no one shoots it. Genesis Chamber trigger. Plaguecrafter will sacrifice the Serpent token. Oh no, it's a Path to Exile. Probably negate that. Yeah, negate it. No thanks. Like to keep our commander in. It's the only thing this deck is made to do. Keep our commander in play. Obuun back to play for opponent. Combat trigger. Brings back to our turn. Koma trigger. Awakening Zone trigger. Come on, land off the top. Rampant Growth is fine. Ooh, we're kind of short on green mana. Really want to get the Zendikar's Royal in before we start doing all the ramp stuff. Does anything bring in lands untapped? No. Oh, you want what we can do? We can go Metallurgic Summonings, Rampant Growth, and then have all the green we need to do some of the other stuff next turn. That seems like a plan. Let's do that. We will need to sacrifice this Eldrazi spawn. I guess that's fine. Cast Rampant Growth. Trigger the Metallurgic Summonings. We definitely need another Forest. And we can do some attacking. Attack Mango. Attack Hammer. And everything else has Summoning Sickness. And we're still the Monarch, so we draw at the end step. Ooh, that's an overrun. Not that far away from that overrun. Basically just need more time and creatures in play, and we are ready to roll. Opponent says, I'm remembering why I dislike Koma. Yeah, it's kinda strong. Like I said, only creature you need. Oh no, opponent's gonna vindicate our Metallurgic Summonings. That makes me so sad. Oh no. Down it goes. Sadness. Mardu Control. Gotta watch out for that. Ooh, that's a Felice. If you guys haven't seen this one in action yet, it is really strong. There's a Genesis Chamber trigger. They get 2 tokens because of the Anointed Procession. And it says, at the beginning of each end step, create X white spirits, where X is the number of tokens you created. So this is going to be 4 spirits coming in. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, Felice is insane. I've been meaning to play this one. I just haven't had the time. Been trying to get through Kaldheim decks and Patreon decks, and this thing's insane. It hits the token limit on Magic Online so fast. Token limit's 200, by the way. Time Wipe. Ooh, well, that's a destroy. Not that worried about it. Sacrifice another Serpent. Sacrifice this Koma's Coil. Koma stays alive, everything else gets blown up. Opponent did return 1 to their hand. Ooh, it's probably the Playcrafter. Well, they passed the turn, so we're good now. At least we don't have to deal with the Thalisse. That thing is insane. So basically we just need like a turn cycle or 2 where opponents run out of board wipes, and then it's overrun time, and also return to Wildspeaker time. Return of the Wildspeaker. Selvala into play. Nice, that can draw us cards, which I like. Genesis Chamber. Kind of looking for the land off the top. If we can go Zendikar's Royal into Circuitous Route. I would like that a lot. Koma and Awakening Zone trigger. Thematic Compass, slightly awkward right here, but probably what we're doing. Let's get the Zendikar's Royal into play. Really wanted the land. Yeah, it's exactly at 7, so it would flip without ever getting us the land. I guess we do it. I guess it gives us a land in the sense that it'll flip over. Let's do some attacking. Let's stay on Hammer with the commander damage, and we'll go with Mango with the token. Opponents take the hit. 12 commander on Hammer already. Better watch out for our double overrun. And end step, we draw with the Monarch and Thematic Compass trigger. There's that land we've been looking for. Here's the thing I hadn't even thought about that much, is that beside the fact that Simic is just really good at drawing cards, we've only cast the Harmonize as card draw. And our hand is basically full because we don't need to run a million things into play because we just need to keep our commander in play. So it's almost pseudo card advantage by the fact of you don't have to play a ton of things because Koma does all the work for you. Like right now we're on 7 lands, 8 with the Spires, so we're even with the turn count, even though Spires, like, most of the time, we're probably not going to use it as mana. Like, next turn, if we're able to double ramp with Circuitous Route, Urban Evolution with 2 lands, then we're going to really start to pull ahead, and we haven't done that because we've just been protecting Koma for a little while and kind of being conservative. Zulaport Cutthroat for opponent triggers the Oketra's Monument. I don't know, maybe we're just on the double overrun turn. Playcrafter's back. Ooh, nice. Opponent's going to create a token with a Danto, so they don't have to discard the Playcrafter. Playcrafter. Sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn. Zulaport Cutthroat will trigger. Ooh, that's a Growth Spiral. Those are good. That is off of the Selvala activation. Looks like lands and... Ooh, a Swords to Plowshares. Oh, that's not great. We need to find more hexproof. I know where that Swords is going. Looks like we might have to actually fight for a little bit. It's in their hand, too, with the untapped white mana. Yeah, they're just going to do it now. Ah, down goes the Power Snake. It had a good run, though. That's an Elder Gargaroth for opponent. Back to our turn, Awakening Zone trigger. Clone Legion, nice. That could be fun. That could be fun. We'll try to wait for the Morog, if we can. Also, we should be careful of the Morog. That is the type of thing, like, next turn with that Gargaroth, that could actually do a lot. I definitely want to get some ramp going this turn, so I think we need to do that. Let's play the Urban Evolution. Sacrifice this Eldrazi. There's a bunch of stuff. Play a land, Zendikar's Royal. Play a second land, Zendikar's Royal. 5 mana left, 6 if we use the Spires. Ooh, we don't have double blue for the Control Magic, so Control Magic offline. This only draws us a card since we're out of lands, but we'll draw at the end step. So maybe we Elemental Bond this turn. We're going to set a stop at our end step. And if we draw into a land, we can Growth Spiral it. Although I guess we still have to discard if we do that right. We attacking anything? We can try to chew a few 1/1s up from opponent right here, I think. They'll block with the Playcrafter. Zulaport Cutthroat will trigger. We'll draw at the end step with... Ooh, that's a counterspell. The Monarch. I guess we just try the Growth Spiral. If it's a land, we'll be able to drop it into play. It is not a land. It's a Mind Control. No lands. What don't we need? We could probably drop the Circuitous Route. Opponent drops a Skull Clamp. Oh no, that's a Wheel of Fortune. Oh, all of our good stuff. All of our good stuff is going away. Oh, that makes me so sad. Into lands, Wave of Vitriol, Boom Pile, Beast Within. Yeah, our hand is so much worse now. At least it has lands, but... Oh, that was all the things we wanted. That was so much gas to lose. I think there's 3 overruns in the deck, and that was 2 of them. Archon of Sun's Grace coming into play for opponent. I told opponents, you don't know how much gas I just lost. They lost, ooh, a Chroma's Will, Morog, and Raise Forerunners. They may have just had it. Although, they would need 2 turns to set that up. That's a lot of mana that they don't have currently. Ooh, opponent's got a Cathar's Crusade. They're pumping up the team over there. Yeah, they got some stuff happening now. I wasn't planning on the Wave of Vitriol, but we might have to. Cathar's Crusade will be a problem. We'll see what the Esper deck's got. Esper usually full of control. Skull Clamp on this big vampire. Be a 7/5 with lifelink. Gain some life back with that. Lost so many things. We lost 2 mind control spells, a counter spell. I think there's about 4 counter spells in the deck. That was a point, too, is that I didn't go heavy with the counter spells. I'm not a huge counter spell guy unless I'm going into a combo meta. I felt like 4 was about fine. I ran, the budget-friendly ones. You could certainly up that a bit if you like counter spells more than I do. I tend to prefer permanent removal more than counter spells personally. So I didn't go super wild with them, but you can obviously make some changes there. Got Eternal Catcher coming in for opponent. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Spitting out the tokens. Seems good. Vampire Hexmage. Good for cutting things down to size if something gets really big off the Cathar's Crusade. They can potentially save themselves with that. Man, I really wish we still had the Metallurgic Summonings in play. We would have so many more tokens if that thing stuck around. A Lotus Cobra for opponent. Those are good. Landfall Lotus Cobra. Mana Echoes. Uh-oh. Those are scary. Oh, man, we discarded the Barrier Breach. Kind of need it now, although we would have lost it to the Wheel of Fortune anyway. Yeah, here comes all the enchantments. May have to think about the Wave of Vitriol, but we have a lot of value in Zendikar's Royal and Elemental Bond. Maybe we just play Boom Pile. Hammer is probably going to get crushed on lands if we Wave of Vitriol. Back to our turn, Awakening Zone. Mana Echoes. Play an Island. Zendikar's Royal. Mana Echoes. Yeah, we need to get Koma back into play. Let's do that. There's Koma. We have 3 mana left so we can Beast Within something. Probably has to be the Cathar's Crusade. Things will get way too big if that sticks around. There's an Elemental Bond and a Genesis Chamber trigger. Reign of Thorns is a cool card. I'm going to Beast Within the Cathar's Crusade so we don't just lose. They'll get 2 tokens out of the deal because of Anointed Procession. And we'll pass like that. Yeah, we can't really attack anywhere. Everything's just a lot of stuff on board right now. End step, draw a card. We are the Monarch still. There's a Kodama's Reach. And discard a Forest. Pass like that. Make a token. Draw a card, Elemental Bond. Agent of Erebos seems bad. Whenever it or an enchantment enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Don't love that. We have a lot of good stuff in there that we want back. Mana Echo, Genesis Chamber, Agent of Erebos, Archon of Sun's Grace. All seems good. Going to target the Esper graveyard, but if they have more enchantments coming in, ours is probably going to get hit also. Phyrexian Arena for opponent. They do have Cabal Coffers in play. See how many swamps they have. They have 5 swamps, so they are getting some extra mana. Agent of Erebos gets our graveyard. That's not great. A lot of our good stuff going down. Court of Grace coming in for opponent. Ooh, that's going to make them the Monarch. Stealing it away from us. No attacks needed. Can exile Sean's graveyard. Oh, the graveyard's going down. See who brought a board wipe. There's a lot of bodies over here. Yeah, it's a good thing we shot the Cathar's Crusade. They'd probably be on lethal right now if we hadn't. At least on us anyway. There's some flying in there. We don't have a lot of flying blockers. Opponent makes a token. Yeah, we got a 6/7 coming our way. It's in the air. Can't do much with it. Yeah, they're going to send the 7/5 on the ground also. I'm going to block and kill the 7/5. I don't want to take the 7. They'll gain the life. I guess they'll also draw the cards. But yeah, I just don't want to take the 7. There's a lot of power on board right now, and especially with like a single effect, an overrun, or a double strike can really make things lethal quickly. So we're at 42. We want to try to stay as high as we can. We're at the point now where I think people are just going to get one hit out of the game. Some big play is going to happen, and then you're just going to die. So trying to keep as much life as you can, going to be a good idea. Sometimes you kind of limp into the late game where no one has a lot, and everyone can be at like 10 or 15 life, and like you're like, all right, I can block a little bit. They can't get through that super quickly, but not the case here. A lot of creatures on board. Opponent re-equips the Skull Clamp. Yep. Factor Fiction for opponent. Teferi's Protection, Land, Hedron Archive, Nim Deathmantle, Swords to Plowshares. All bad stuff. What? Gross. Teferi's Protection in 1. Hedron Archive with the Teferi's Protection. Opponent takes a Teferi's Protection. Yep. Teferi's Protection, Hedron Archive. Too attractive not to. At least they get rid of the swords. That means Koma's not going to die right here. So I can appreciate that. But we'll want to be careful about how we attack that. Teferi's Protection can really do a lot. I had a Constant Mists in the deck that I cut for budget, and I kind of wish I kept it in. I wanted to get another Fog into the deck, and I didn't quite do that. But we're definitely at the point where Fog would be very good. Although, I guess we have this Boom Pile, and that kind of fogs. Or at least it could, if you win the flip. There's an Explorer. That's good. That'll help us get lands out of our hand. I like that. Selvala activation, Simic Charm. We can give +3/+3 to a creature. Permanents we control can gain hexproof. That's a very good one. Or return target creature to its owner's hand. That can also be good as a form of protection. Or if we need to bounce something that's trying to kill us. One of the draws was from the Koma Serpent Elemental Bond combination. I think I misspoke there. Aggravated Assault. Uh-oh. That's how you lose games. Oh, and they can make mana with Mana Echoes? That's not great. They're not infinite, but I think they can do some things. He just tapped a bunch of his red mana. I would absolutely not be doing that. There's an Urborg. Escape to the Wilds, huh? Exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may play cards exiled this way until end of turn. Until the end of your next turn. You may play an additional land this turn. Blasphemous Act and a Xenagos seems like a pretty good place to be. Landfall trigger. Yep. The Blasphemous Act would actually probably be pretty good for us. Keep Koma alive and then just start rebuilding our tokens. And I don't know that opponents will be able to rebuild as well as we will. Or they could just Xenagos something and try to swing in with something real big. Sean is doing the math to see if he can kill all of us right now. It's not great. It's not great. Here comes the Xenagos. Oh yeah, Xenagos with Blasphemous Act could be an issue. Now something's going to be huge. You can swing with the Urborg, get something else crazy. Mana Echoes Genesis Chamber. Opponent going to combat, Xenagos trigger. Did not play the Blasphemous Act first. Yep, gonna put it on the Urborg. It's a 12/12. We got 2 big ones coming our way, and Urborg and Elder Gargaroth, not ideal. Also the Xenagos. Here we go. Oh god, we can't block. Each opponent can't block with more than 1 creature this combat. Ew. That's a killer. Urborg trigger. Gross. Yeah, Miri, I think, is gonna get us. Man, I wanted to get that boom pile in, and probably also could have left this untapped. What'd they drop in? Oh, and a Chroma Vision of Ixidor? No big deal. Opponent creates a 3/3. Yep. Can only block with 1 creature. Not ideal. So I think our plan is block the Gargaroth just to get it out of play. We're going to sacrifice the thing and make it indestructible. Think we're going to survive. It's going to hurt pretty bad. Down to 9, so we survived. That's good. Hopefully they don't have follow-ups. That's pretty bad for something like a Zulaport Cutthroat, though. That could just kill us. Ooh, yeah, we can't just wipe the board now. It's unfortunate. A Chroma goes back to hand. Wait, what we can do next turn? We could bounce the Miri if we need to. Koma trigger, Awakening Zone. Koma trigger, we draw Mana Echoes. Reconnaissance Mission is interesting. Let's play another island, I think. Let's see. Definitely want the boom pile. Sacrifice the Eldrazi spawn. Use a green. Okay, we don't have a ton of blue in hand right now. So, let's just play an island. In case we draw into something blue. Counter spells and things. Zendikar's Royal will trigger. Let's get the Hunting Wilds in. Get a Forest. Oh, wow. We're low on basics. So, 2 Zendikar Royal triggers. We've got 4 mana left. I guess we could play the Explore. Yeah, I guess just play Explore. Get the ramp in case we survive. Another land, so we'll drop a land. Oh, Miri went down, which means we can attack with a bunch of things if we want to. But, God, opponents have so much stuff in play that I think we're defensive right now. We just can't really get in anywhere. We really need the boom pile to go off. We want the threat of the boom pile, and because it's not guaranteed, I don't think we want to tip our hand right there. Because even though it would be cool to untap with a bunch of Koma coils and then go about it that way, I think we need the threat of the boom pile being untapped to really kind of do the thing we're looking for. Discard some forests. We draw into a Spitting Image. Could be cool if we get a chance to untap and do some things. Opponent going straight to combat. Let's see where they're sending it. Well, opponent's going to force our hand on the boom pile, sending the flyers our way. And the 6/7 over 2 hammer. Is this lethal? I think that's enough to be lethal. Yeah, that's enough. So, hope this works. Sacrifice a snake first. All right, you guys ready? Hope this works. You know what? We might be able to survive with Spires and a Simic Charm if this doesn't pan out. But here we go. Boom pile time. Flip a coin. If you win the flip, destroy all non-land permanents. Ooh, opponent's going to peace out with the Teferi's protection. Yep. Means even if this does go means they probably have it. I guess maybe not if it doesn't. What are we choosing? Let's choose Tails. Lost the flip. Nope. No dice. No dice. I really wanted to get this in last turn. I forget what we did last turn. Or the turn before. God, there's so much stuff I can't tell what I can actually block. That one's flying. Yeah, it can't block anything. I believe there are 5 tokens, so I think if we Simic Charm one, let's go for this one, and then we have to Spires another. I think we survive at 1, but I guess there's a Zulaport Cutthroat, so I don't even know if any of that matters. We survive at 1! We really needed Sean to play the Blasphemous Act, because he still could have played it in his second main, I think. Darian coming in. I wouldn't have left that much stuff on the board. Because like with the Xenagos is basically everything you need, and now everyone can die on a backswing, basically. Where if you Blasphemous Act, opponents really can't punch you back nearly as hard. Aegis of the Gods, they have hexproof. Triggers a whole bunch of things. Stuff going off left and right. There's Boots. I just don't see the way that we survive. Hedron Archive. Ooh, that's an austere command. All enchantments, all creatures with converted mana cost 3 or less. Well, that's not our commander. This'll be interesting. Oh, we're gonna die to the Zulaport. We will die to the Zulaport. Unfortunate. Yep. Stuff getting blown up. There's like 10 Zulaport triggers. That's gonna take us down. We were so close to winning too. It was the turn with Selvala where they drew into the swords off the top. If that swords stayed on top of their library like it was supposed to, then I think that was going to be the double overrun turn. And I would have at least taken Hammer out of the game and probably put the other 2 on very low life. It's much harder for them to do what they're trying to do. Because from that point, they would have had to have blocked with everything. Just to like not die to whatever we were doing. So yeah, that swords got that one lucky draw. We were unbelievably close at that point, though. We kind of lost tempo when we had to recast. Not casting some of the 4-mana ramp spells earlier, I think, was a mistake. Probably not getting the Boom Pile a turn earlier was also a mistake, I think, too. We probably should have set up a little bit more in the early game instead of just trying to get our commander in super fast. So it might be a playstyle decision thing where if we went a little bit more conservative and then got Koma on like even a turn later, like turn 6 maybe, that might have been smarter. Opponent's going to go to combat. Xenagos trigger on Ilharg. Crown of Empires, gain control of target creature. Do they have all of them? They don't have all of them. Oh, tap target creature. Yeah, that works. That works. It's going to be kind of a slugfest from here, I think. There's the Blasphemous Act. This is really good against the Xenagos. Court of Ambition coming in for opponent. Queen Marchesa back to play. Smothering Tithe in for opponent. Queen Marchesa into the Nevinrryal opponent. Nevinrryal in for opponent. Oketra's Monument. Obuun, Daya, Ancestor coming in. Landfall trigger. Xenagos and Obuun triggers. Sending the 8/8 land over to Hammer. Yep. So opponent takes the hit, goes down to 30. Queen Marchesa, Court of Ambition triggers at the upkeep. Who is the Monarch right now? Sean is the Monarch, so each opponent will only lose 3 life. Opponent feeds a creature to the Skull Clamp. Yep. Toxic Deluge, X6. Get rid of it. There's a Nevinrryal trigger. They've got the 1. Do they want to blow up the artifacts and enchantments? There's some ones worth blowing up. Skull Clamp, Smothering Tithe, Court of Ambition, Crown, all seems like it might be worth it. They will lose an Oketra's Monument and a Genesis Chamber. With a little bit of mana ramp. Chooses not to go with it. I probably would have. There's a Crush Contraband on the Xenagos and the Hedron Archive. Rough. Queen Marchesa coming into play. Genesis Chamber. Queen Marchesa into the Nevinrryal opponent. Draws at the end step with the Monarch trigger. Smothering Abomination in for opponent, and they'll get a token. Selfless Savior in for opponent, and Oketra's Monument trigger. Generous Gift on the Court of Ambition. Opponent gets themselves an elephant. You know, that's not the first one I would have went for. Obuun, Daya, Ancestor back to play. Crystal Chimes coming in. Sacrifice it, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to your hand. That's a cool little card. Oh yeah, looks like there might be on an enchant. Yeah, definitely an enchantment theme. So saw a bunch of the Constellation. They've got about 4 things they can get back. More than that, 5 or 6. Cathar's Crusade's in there. So yeah, potentially game winning if they can stick all that for a couple turns. Mana Crypt. Yeah, they're going to activate the Crystal Chimes, and they have a lot of mana. So they can get some of that stuff back in. Anointed Procession back. Cathar's Crusade in. Agent of Erebos back. Yep, that will trigger the stuff. There's a bunch of triggers. Opponent building that army back up. Cathar's Crusade trigger, making them big. Opponent swings into Sean. They go down to 16. 9 commander. Monarch trigger at the end step. Opponent sacrifices a creature with the Smothering Abomination. They'll get to draw a card. Smothering Tithe. Opponent sacrifices the Selfless Savior, and they'll draw a card. Looks like they're just trying to get the card draw. Smothering Tithe. Got Eternal Oketra coming in. Oketra's Monument. Genesis Chamber. Skyclave Relic kicked coming in. Going to get some extra mana. Opponent's been chasing a little bit on mana this game. That's definitely hurt them a bit, I think. But this will help them a bit. But they do need to survive. They can probably survive as long as the opponent doesn't have a big overrun type of thing. But they're still definitely behind what Hammer's doing at this point. Opponent swings in and steals the Monarch trigger with the Smothering Abomination. They go down to 20. Opponent draws at the end step, triggers the Smothering Tithe. Anointed Procession coming in for opponent. There's Ilharg back to play. Genesis Chamber, they'll get 2 off of that because of the Anointed Procession. Land tax coming in. Queen Marchesa Mana Crypt. Opponent's team's getting pretty big. More stuff. Cathar's Crusade pumping the team up. Oh, that's a Ruinous Ultimatum. That's how you finish this game up. Got Eternal Oketra and Ilharg both trigger. They'll go into the libraries. Sean scoops it right there. Not much left. Yeah, I think it's scoop time. And they scoop it right there, so Hammer taking it down. Mardu Token's getting there with a lot of control on the board. A lot of removal this game, and just a lot of removal late in the game, like after we died especially. Kind of a weird game. So I think our deck actually played pretty well. Like I said, if they didn't catch the swords off the top, that was going to be the overrun turn, and people were going to be going down right there. And that would have saved us a lot of heartache, I think. But they caught that swords, they killed Koma, and then we didn't really have the push to make the overrun worth it. And then we got all of our really good stuff wheeled, and that was just super painful. So that's kind of just some bad luck. Ideally, we would have drawn a few more lands and not missed some land drops and, had those big things left in our library so that when the wheel dropped, we would have then drawn into those things, and we just didn't do that. So yeah, a little bit of bad luck right there. I could probably tighten up the mana curve just a little bit. There's a few more things I want to get in here, like a Ranger's Guile, maybe a little bit more protection. Even probably like an Unsummon is probably cool too. Just bounce Koma instead of having to pay the commander tax. So stuff like that. But anyway, I thought it played pretty well. I still think it illustrates the point. I mean, we were playing a $75 budget deck versus decks with no budget. We still performed very admirably, and we have no creatures, which are like one of the greatest strengths of Simic. So yeah, all that considered, I thought the deck played pretty well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hey guys, next time you purchase cards, if you want to support me and my LGS, be sure to check out mothershipaTX.com and use the promo code REPLAY to save 15% on your next order. And if you can't find what you're looking for, you can use the TCG affiliate player link. All links are in the description below.